All right, everyone, thank you. We got one more show for you. I do invite you to stand up, use a restroom if you need to. We do have candy and other little treats over there on the table. Also information on the cast and shows for the rest of our season are coming up. So if you want to do that, you can do that right now. The next show that we're doing is one from another popular series, My Favorite Husband. And because spring is right around the corner and also the month of April, we're doing a show called, the episode April Fool's Day, where Liz plays April Fool's joke on George. So it'll be a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. That was the first. My Favorite Husband was first broadcasted as a one-time special on the CBS Radio on July 5th, 1948. CBS's new series, Our Miss Brooks, had been delayed coming to the air, so to fill in the gaps for that week's CBS aired, they aired My Favorite Husband with Lucille Ball and Lee Bauman. Played the characters of Liz and George Cugat, but it wasn't until there was confusion with, there was like some band director whose name also had Cugat, so then they changed it to Liz and George Cooper as the series went on. And this whole series is kind of inspired from novels Mr. and Mrs. Cugat and The Record of the Happy Marriage and Outside Eden. So we hope you enjoyed this show. Without further ado, here is My Favorite Husband, April Fool's Day.
Yes, it's the new Gay Family series, starring Lucille Ball with Richard Denning as Liz and George Cooper, two people who live together and like it. As we look in at the Coopers tonight, George hasn't returned home from work, and Liz is in the kitchen talking to Kathy, the maid.
Do you know what day this is, Katie?
Yes, Mrs. Cooper. It's Friday.
Yes, but it's also April Fool's Day, and I just thought I'd warn you that I put an exploding cigarette in that package in the living room.
Well, fine by me. You think I snitched cigarettes out of your living room?
Oh, I know, Katie, but I noticed that you're smoking, and I just...
Well, I can't make much here, Mrs. Cooper, but I can still buy my own cigarettes. To be accused of petty things like stealing them.
Oh, I'm sorry, Katie. It's just that you have a cigarette in your mouth, and I wanted to be sure you didn't get the exploding one.
I accept your apology. Never mind the laughing, Mrs. Cooper. Help me find my upper plate.
Oh, that's one joke gone, Bluey. Well, this trick won't miss.
What are you doing, Mrs. Cooper? Kissing that handkerchief?
Yeah, I want to smear it all up good with lipstick and slip it in George's pocket.
I don't get it.
Don't you see? I'll make some excuse to get him to take out his handkerchief, and then I'll step back and let him try to explain the lipstick on it.
Oh, Mrs. Cooper, that's an awful thing to do to anybody.
That's a dirty, stinking thing to do, and I'm glad I thought of it.
How are you going to plant it on him?
You're going to help. Now, when he comes in, I'll stop him in the hall, and you reach out through the kitchen door and put the handkerchief in his overcoat pocket.
Oh, I feel like one of those, what do you call those pickpockets? A regular drip.
That's dip. Now, get ready, Katie. He'll be home any minute. Here's the handkerchief.
Here you are, Mr. Anderson, the chocolate malt. Hi, Mr. Cooper.
Well, hello, Felix. How's the drugstore business tonight?
Oh, business is fine, Mr. Cooper. Everybody is sick. Well, what could I do for you?
Well, I want to play an April Fool's joke on my wife, and, well, I was wondering if you sell any of those novelty gags?
A glass that dribbles or itching powder or candy with soap in it?
Yeah, that's the idea, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have any.
Oh, that's too bad.
Hey, why don't you try Miller's? They got some swell-loaded cigars.
Well, that would be fine, Felix, but Liz gave up cigars for Lent.
Oh, well, you might try the trick I played on my fiancée, Imogene. We're engaged.
I gathered that.
Well, anyway, I told her I lost my job and didn't have any money. This is a joke.
Did she fall for it?
Yeah, I think so. She gave me my ring back.
Hey, you know, that's a good idea, Felix. Well, I'll tell Liz I lost my job at the bank.
Yeah. You think she'll give you your ring back?
No, that's too much to hope for.
Oh.
But it'll be a lot of fun.
Here comes George now, Katie. Don't forget the handkerchief. That you, George?
Yes, dear, it's me. I'm home.
Why, George, what's the matter? You look sick. Are you all right?
No, Liz, I'm...
You got hit by a car.
No, honey.
You were robbed.
No, darling.
You've been poisoned.
No,
Well, don't just stand there like a lump of putty. Tell me what happened.
Liz, I lost my job.
Oh, is that all?
Is that all?
Oh, George, what's a job? As long as it isn't your health. If you had broken your leg or something, it would be... You lost your job? Oh, why couldn't you have just broken your leg, huh?
Well, they fired me, Liz. Oh, I foreclosed on my last widow. They're already scraping my name off the door.
I can't believe it.
Yes, when I left, it was already down to George Coop.
But, George, you've been with the bank for 10 years.
Oh, I know. Everybody felt terrible about it. There wasn't a dry eye in the place.
Well, I should hope not.
You know, it even caused a run on the bank.
It did?
Oh, yes, they were all crying so hard, people thought the bank had failed.
But why, George? Why did they fire you?
The bank examiner discovered I had done something wrong.
George, you don't mean that...
Yes, I put new points in the bank pens.
What?
April Fool!
You mean you didn't lose your job?
Of course not. Boy, did you fall for that.
George Cooper, that was a dirty trick.
Oh, you're not mad, are you, Liz? Well, I sort of half expected you to play an April Fool joke on me.
Me? I wouldn't stoop to such a low trick.
Mrs. Cooper, can I see you for a minute?
I'll be right there, Katie. George, give me your handkerchief for a minute, will you?
Wait till I take my overcoat off.
No, don't take your coat off.
Well, why not? It's warm in here.
Oh, well, then why don't you just take out your handkerchief and mop your brow?
Liz, do you feel well?
I feel fine. As a matter of fact, I feel like playing a game.
What game?
Drop the handkerchief.
I think you've blown your top, Liz.
George, kiss me.
Yeah, do you mind if I take my coat off first?
No, kiss me right now.
Liz, if you're driving at something, I want to... Ooh, now I've got to take my coat off.
Oh, look, I got lipstick on you. Give me your handkerchief, darling.
No, never mind. I'll take it off with a Kleenex.
Oh, give me your handkerchief. There's one sticking out of your coat pocket.
Well, that's funny. I never carry a handkerchief there.
Let's have it.
I don't know how this got in my... that's not a handkerchief.
Let me see it.
It's not a handkerchief.
What is it?
My shirt tail. I have a hole in my pocket.
If it's your shirt tail, how can you hold it behind your back like that?
It isn't easy.
Let me see that, George. Why, it is a handkerchief. And it's got lipstick on it.
No, it hasn't, Liz. Honest, that's not lipstick.
Then what is it?
Well, the truth is, I had a nosebleed today.
Oh, you did.
That's it. I had a nosebleed.
Your blood type seems to be 10G.
Well, Liz, I might as well tell you the truth.
Don't strain yourself.
Mrs. Cooper, come here a minute, will ya?
Just a minute, Katie. Well, George, have you thought of a good truth yet?
Yes, I mean, this is the way it happened. You know Miss Johnson, that homely old maid secretary down at the bank?
Yes.
Well, I accidentally bumped into her, and some of her lipstick got onto my cheek.
She doesn't even come up to your shoulder. What was she doing, walking on stilts?
No.
You don't really expect me to believe that, do you?
All right, I'll tell you the truth. I haven't the slightest idea where that lipstick came from. You can think what you want to. I don't care to discuss it anymore. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing about?
April Fool!
What are you talking about?
That's my lipstick. I put some on your handkerchief and I planted it on you.
No, you didn't fool me. I knew it all the time.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, George, you were so funny.
Well, now we're even.
Oh, husbands are so silly. They have such silly consciences. Don't you know I trust you, George, no matter how bad things look?
Oh, thank you, darling.
Mrs. Cooper!
Oh, I forgot. Coming, Katie. I'll be right back, darling. What do you want, Katie?
It's all about your April Fool's joke, Mrs. Cooper.
Oh, it worked beautifully. You should have seen George's face.
You mean you already done it?
Yes, why?
How could you? I didn't put the handkerchief.
Katie, what are you trying to tell me?
He didn't stand close enough to the door. I couldn't stick the handkerchief in his pocket.
Oh, no, Katie.
I still got it. Here it is.
What are you doing, honey? Come on into the living room and talk to me, baby.
Don't baby me, you monster! All right, George. How did the lipstick get out into that other handkerchief?
I don't know. I thought you said you trusted me, Liz.
I did. And look what happened.
Well, you thought it was a scream when I had one handkerchief with lipstick on it. Two of them ought to give you a real laugh.
You should be ashamed of yourself, George Cooper.
Look, I've been framed.
Ha!
Outside of this house, I don't know what a kiss is.
Scientists don't know what electricity is either, but they know how to use it.
No, stop. I thought you were the one who wasn't jealous.
I'm not. I merely have a healthy curiosity.
For the last time, I don't know where that lipstick came from.
Ha!
Look, I'm getting fed up. Do you believe me or not?
All right, George. I believe you.
And that's the last time we'll hear of it.
Yes, George.
Good. Now let's go to bed.
All right. George?
What?
Who was she? George! George! Wake up!
What's the matter?
Was it the blonde cashier at the bank?
Oh, Liz, this is the third time you woke me up. Now cut it out.
Was it Anita Allen, Elaine Abbott, Dora Alberg, Day One Cleaning Company? No, it couldn't be them.
Where are you getting those names?
Out of the phone book. I'm going to find out who it was if I have to go through the whole book.
Go to sleep.
All right, George, start talking.
What are you doing? Don't shine that bright light in my face.
This is the third degree. Now start talking. Who was it?
Oh, now stop it, Liz. You've been pestering me all night. Now, will you please let me get some sleep?
Well, all right, George. I won't ask you any more tonight.
Thank you. Good night. Oh, no, that isn't the alarm, is it?
Yes, and now that it's morning, George, who was it?
Oh.
Hey, George. George, wake up.
I tell you, I don't know where the lipstick came from.
What are you talking about, George? You went to sleep right at your desk.
Huh? Oh, hi, Joe. I didn't get any sleep last night. Liz found a handkerchief in my pocket with lipstick on it.
Oh, George, you sly devil, you.
I have no idea where it came from.
Hey, George, this is Joe, not Liz.
But I'm telling you the truth.
Oh, it's a shame.
Shame?
Yeah, as long as you got arrested, it's too bad you didn't get to enjoy the crime.
Very funny.
Don't worry, George. Uncle Joe's got an idea. I'll call Liz and tell her that I planted the handkerchief on you as an April Fool's joke.
Hey, now you're talking sense.
Then it's all settled. I'll call after you get home tonight, and the minute she hangs up, she'll fall into your arms.
Good.
Oh, say, I almost forgot what I came in here for. Atterbury wants to see you in his office.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. Don't forget to call tonight.
Okay, I won't.
Did you send for me, Mr. Atterbury?
Yes, come in, George boy. I understand you had a little trouble at home last night.
Well, yes, but how did you hear about it?
Well, yeah. Things get around. Oh, you devil, you.
Oh, not you too. Listen, I have no idea who put that lipstick on my handkerchief.
Of course not. Who was she, boy?
Oh, I said I don't know. But if I find the moron who put that handkerchief in my pocket, I'll punch him right in the nose.
Oh, I don't think you would.
Oh, not much I wouldn't.
Well, here's my nose. Start punching.
Are you the moron? I mean, did you do it?
April Fool. It worked better than I thought.
Yeah, well, I should say it did. You know, Liz is furious with me.
I know.
You know, she kept me up all night quizzing me.
Oh, yeah?
Frankly, Mr. Atterbury, I don't think it was funny. If you want to see me on business, I'll be in my office. Goodbye.
Don't go away, mad boy. Oh, that poor guy. I'd better do something to straighten it out for him.
Mrs. Cooper, you can't stay out here in the kitchen all night.
I'm very happy reading this book. I don't care to sit in the same room with you-know-who until he explains how that you-know-what got into his you-know-where.
You mean you're going to stay here till what's-his-name explains about the whatchamacallit?
Yes, and don't worry about me. I'm not the least bit upset, and I'm enjoying this book.
Do you always hold the book upside down when you're reading?
What? Well, I wish I knew where that hanky came from. I'll get it. Hello?
Hello, Liz. This is Joe Ridgely.
Oh, hello, Joe. Do you want to speak with George?
Oh, gosh, I don't know if I dare. I hope I didn't get him any trouble.
What do you mean?
Well, yesterday was April Fool's, and I put a handkerchief in his pocket with a lot of lipstick on it.
You did?
Yeah, and then I forgot to tell him about the trick, and he went home before I remembered. You weren't mad, were you?
Me? Mad? Oh, Joe.
Well, some women would have blown their tops.
Joe, what kind of a wife do you think I am? I did see it, and George said he didn't know where it came from, and that was the end of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I just thought I'd call in case anything went wrong.
Well, thanks for calling, Joe. George,
Yes, Liz?
that was Joe Ridgely on the phone.
Oh, now do you believe I didn't know where that handkerchief came from?
How did you know what he told me?
Oh, I was listening to your end of the conversation, and I put two and two together.
Oh, well, George, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right, Liz. I understand.
I guess I was just a jealous, nagging wife.
Well, yes, you were.
Well, you don't have to agree with me.
Oh, now, honey, don't start crying.
Do you forgive me?
Well, I guess so.
Kiss me, George. I promise never to be jealous again. Scout's honor.
Oh, honey, you just don't appreciate me. I'm as trustworthy and loyal as an old dog.
George,
What?
let me sit on your lap, dog. Oh, darn it, I'll get it. Hello?
Hello? Is that you, Liz, girl?
Oh, hello, Mr. Atterbury. How are you?
Fine, girl, fine. But I have some explaining to do to you.
To me?
Yes, it's about April Fool joke. I played on George.
Oh, you too? I just heard about another one that was played on him. What did you do?
I slipped a handkerchief with lipstick on it in George's pocket. Liz, are you there?
I'm here, all right. Didn't you think there was anything unusual when you put the handkerchief in George's pocket?
Like what?
Like finding you were shaking hands with Joe Ridgely?
I don't know what you mean. I just wanted to be sure you understood, Liz.
Oh, I understand perfectly.
Oh, then everything's all right.
Everything's just ginger peachy.
Goodbye.
First, Joe put the handkerchief in your pocket. Now, Mr. Atterbury comes up with the same story. Which story do you want me to believe?
Well, now, Liz.
Which friend has the phony?
Well, I can explain. You see, Mr. Atterbury was telling the truth, and Joe was just doing me a favor.
Ha!
Oh, you're yelling again.
You're darn right I am.
Well, what about that Scout's honor?
Shake hands with the next brownie.
Liz, I've told you the truth. If you don't believe me, I'll treat you like the child that you are and put you over my knee.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, wouldn't I? Come on, over my knee.
No, no, stop it.
Now you're just crying because I hurt your pride.
That isn't all. Gee, that hurt. I never got spanked that much when I was little.
Well, when you were little, there wasn't that much to spank.
Oh, first you smooch other women, then you beat me, and now you say I'm a big fat cow.
I wouldn't beat a big fat cow.
See? You admit it. Well, George, if that's the way you're going to act, there isn't room for both of us under this roof. I'm leaving. George, I said I'm leaving.
Yeah, goodbye.
Now, don't you try to stop me.
Well, who's stopping you?
I'm going to leave right now. Well, I'm leaving.
Okay.
I really am leaving. Bye. For the last time, I'm leaving.
I said goodbye.
Goodbye. Next time, I'm going out the door.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, you heartless beast. Just for that, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Go ahead, give me another one, and this time make it a double. I'm going to drown my sorrows.
But Mrs. Cooper, that's just plain lemon Coke.
I know, Felix. I don't care what happens to me. Felix, men are beasts.
Yeah, I guess we are.
And George Cooper's the biggest beast of all.
I always thought he was a great guy.
To you, yes, but to me, he's cruel and nasty.
Gee whiz.
And I've left him forever.
Gee whiz.
Do you know what he did, Felix? He beat me.
Gee whiz.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Oh, Liz, there you are. Gee whiz, I've been looking all over for you.
Don't talk to her, you big cad.
What? Liz, I didn't think you were serious about leaving. Well, come on home.
Felix, will you tell Mr. Cooper I'm not speaking to him?
She's not speaking to you.
Look, Liz, I just want to say that you...
Through me, please.
Tell her I apologize and I'd like her to come home with me.
He apologizes, and he'd like you to come home with him.
I'm not going home to a wife beater.
She's not going home with a wife beater.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Tell Mr. Cooper he's wasting his time.
You're wasting your time.
I am not.
He is not.
I refuse to continue this exchange of banalities, and I will consider it a favor if he would remove his person from this vicinity.
I refuse to continue this exchange of care for a malt, Mr. Cooper.
Now, Liz, cut out this nonsense.
Now, Liz, cut out this nonsense.
Oh, you keep out of this, Felix.
You keep out of this. Oh.
Tell Mr. Cooper that I...
Why, George Cooper, how are you?
Oh, hello, Charlie.
Say, I'm glad I ran into you. I've got your overcoat.
What?
Yeah, I picked it up by mistake at lunch yesterday. You must have mine. Here's yours.
Oh, thanks.
Let me see that. Why, George, it is your coat.
I hope you didn't look in the pockets of my coat. I had a heavy date the night before.
George, if this is true, what about those other stories from Atterbury and Ridgely?
Oh, they were just friends trying to help me out.
Oh, George, I'm awfully sorry.
Well, you should be. I'll bring your coat down to the bank tomorrow, Charlie.
Oh, all right, George. Oh, give me a Coke, son.
George, will you take me with you, please?
Oh, all right.
Thanks, George. You're so wonderful.
Gee whiz. I'm sure glad they made up. They're swell people, aren't they?
I don't know. I never saw him before.
You said you had his coat.
Search me. He stopped me on the street outside and handed me the coat and gave me $10 to come in and say that.
My favorite husband has been presented through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service. Let me introduce the cast for my favorite husband, April Fool's Day. Kathy, the housekeeper, was played by Amy Davis. Felix, the drugstore employee, was played by Tom Dugan. Mr. Atterbury was played by Andre Dixon. Charlie, George's helpful bystander, was played by Herb Thompson. Joe Redgley, as well as our wonderful sound effects, was done by Marty McNulty. George Cooper was played by Jacob Pelkey. Liz Cooper was played by Allie Babka. And finally, I'm Nell Brennan, and I was your announcer. And now back to our Director of the Month, John Billham.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the shows tonight. Round of applause, everyone, for our great production team over here. We have Lorenzo Cordoba, who does our videographer, and then we have John Jesselmino that does our sound. So a round of applause again for them. They do a lot for us, and we really appreciate all the work they do. Also, a round of applause for Andre Dixon. Not only is he one of our wonderful voice actors, but he also runs our YouTube page that he shares our shows from inside this room to the world. And not only are we on YouTube, but you can also follow us on Twitter, if you have a Twitter, at Radio Players, or Facebook, which would be at Riverside Township Radio Players as well. Information on our remaining shows for the rest of the season will be over there on the table, and we'll also have Director of next month coming up and talking about his shows as well. Big shout out as well, and thank you to the Riverside Township Supervisor Vera Wilt and the board for giving us this opportunity to bring old time radio to the stage of Riverside Town Hall. So a round of applause for them as well. And now, finally, I would like to invite up Jacob Palka, who's our director for April, and he will give you a little preview on our shows that we have next month.
Thanks, John. Keep it going for John. He was our director. He picked great shows, right? Very entertaining. So I get the privilege of being the director for April. It's the fourth Friday of April, April 26th. It is the Friday after Easter for those Christians out there, and even for the Jews, it is the Friday after Passover, so you have no excuses for not being here. We want you here at the Town Hall. I've got two comedies for you that we're going to present. The first one is Flywheel, Shyster and Flywheel, which is, of course, the Marx Brothers, so if you're a fan of them, you're definitely going to want to be here. It's hilarious in typical Marx Brothers fashion. And then the next one we'll do is The Fabulous Dr. Tweety, which really only ran for about a year from 1946 to 47. And it starred Frank Morgan, who you'll know as the Wizard of Oz, and he was in The Shop Around the Corner, a really wonderful actor. And it's compared kind of with Armis Brooks. He teaches at a college. It's very similar to Armis Brooks in that Gail Gordon was in it. And so we will have both of those for you next month, April 26th. Wake your kids, call the neighbors, wake your husband, bring them here for a night of comedy, 2 comedies, same time, same place. Thanks, everybody.